An artist with songs that we all know, and love him or hate him, Lil Mosey had the craziest run back in 2018 and 2019. But after this run, it seems that Lil Mosey had been off the radar. But after this time, it seemed that Lil Mosey had been off the radar for quite some time. But recently, it appears he has started to release music again. Who was Lil Mosey? Why did he disappear from the media? Why has he had a sudden comeback? I want to know.
Yo, what's good? My name's Lil Mosey. I'm with Buzz TV. We're going crazy, man.
Lil Mosey, born Lathan Moses Stanley Echols. He was born January 25th, 2002 in Seattle, Washington. He began his career in 2016 recording songs and uploading them to SoundCloud from his bedroom, as most people do. He released a song called Off-White, which gave him a lot of traction in the beginning of his career.
Oh wait, what I'm tryna rock.
And I'm gonna be honest, this song is for sure showing its age. The soundscape has definitely changed since this song's release. However, the release that brought him to fame in 2018 was the release of his song Pull Up. A track that was featured on his debut album North's Best. This was one of the songs that actually introduced me to his music. With the sounds of 2018, this song was very prominent in the SoundCloud injection of artists into the semi-mainstream sort of space. Lil Mosey was among artists like Lil Tecca, Juice WRLD, Roddy Ricch, 24K Golden, making 2018 one of the best years for melodic rap fans. Mosey solidified his position further in the industry with the song Blueberry Faygo. In retrospect, this song is actually quite mediocre, and along with a lot of his other projects, but at the time, this was a banger, you cannot lie. But with all the fame and wealth that he has found in this career, what could he have done to make all of that disappear in an instant? It turns out Mosey was involved in a serious legal situation where he was charged with second-degree rape in Washington state for engaging in sexual intercourse with someone who was unable to consent. He pled not guilty and passed 2 polygraph tests, which, let's be real, what the fuck does a lie detector prove? He was on trial with another artist called Kid J, and this alleged assault took place at a house party in Randall, Lewis County on January 6, 2020. The accuser told police that she had gone to a house party in Randall to meet up with Echols, aka Mosey, consumed alcohol and eventually blacked out. She later suspected that she had been raped and reported the incident to police. There were many witnesses who testified, including Mosey himself, during the trial that lasted 7 days. One of the witnesses was one of the accuser's friends who was with her at the aftermath of this incident. There was jury deliberation for roughly 7 hours, but Mosey and his co-defendant were found not guilty due to lack of evidence, which honestly could mean he's still done it, because if you think about it, a lot of sex crimes actually don't get convictions. I was looking up the statistics, and roughly 3 to 7% of prosecutions actually lead to a conviction. But yeah, it's seen a lot. Like, all these charges get dropped quite commonly. I'm not saying he's done it or hasn't done it. It's still alleged. He was in court, you know. Has to be some sort of substantial evidence for it to go to trial. I'm just going to say that. Food for thought, you know. So Mosey's name is clear. Big W for him. And after his career coming to a halt for nearly 3 years during this legal process, he has recently seen a comeback. With an EP dropping in September of this year. It was actually rated pretty low, and listening to it myself, it was okay.
I pull up heavily. See on my back, she in love, cause ain't no bad to me. We getting green.
But like, that's just it, you know. It's more of the same sounds we heard back in 2020, you know. It's just more of what we've heard from him before, so nothing new or exciting here. However, his new single Soulja is a lot more promising. It's a lot more catchy, and it has a lot more of the current sounds you'd hear from like today's sort of music. I would still say it's probably like a year, 2 years too late, but that's just my opinion. His incorporation of a digital hyperpop inspired beat over his more like boring sort of pads, and that's about it, like melodic pads. And like back in the 2020 era, that was sort of very common. It was very simple, but like it's moved to more complex beats with and he was using a hyperpop inspired beat. I think that was really cool and quite refreshing from someone like Lil Mosey. People's reviews on this single were not very insightful either. They're just like, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, this is a W. Yeah, I would just say he has a lot of catching up to do with his sound. Like it still sounds like he's like a few years behind each time he drops, you know. Like next year he'll be like a couple years behind. He'll start doing rage music. I don't know. I don't know when that was. I'm trying to think now. Yeah, but this single was definitely something you'd hear in like prime 2022. And if you dropped it back then, this shit, it would have been a banger. Thank you for getting me to 700 subs. Get me to 1K subs. Get my Instagram to 1K. I would appreciate it. So then people think I'm someone. If I get my Instagram to 1K, people might actually think I'm somebody. Come on now. Get me to 1K. Give me my Instagram to 1K. Come on now.